Today is 3/20/2026. It is 3 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States of America. This is the Supernatural Show. We're going live, and we're going to be talking about, well, probably the big elephant in the room, and going to be discussing where we all can see and discern where exactly this conflict that is happening currently, ultimately the things that will lead to, and what's real, what's not real. We're going to get into it today here on the Supernatural Show. And here we go. Let's go live. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show. The show that is not intended for entertainment purposes. Today we've got our full house back in effect. We have Roxy with the Roxy Files YouTube channel.
Hello, governors.
Hello.
And her voice is a little raspy today, but and Shannon's is too. We're gonna maybe talk about that a little bit too. But we also have Shannon from the YouTube channel Children of the Most High here with us again today. Both are co-hosts, official co-hosts of the Supernatural Show, and have duly earned that title and whatever it means. So we also have Miss Kim here with us in the background helping out, and you probably see her in the chat there. And we've got Super Dave on the job, and we've got Super Mike Smith on the job as always. I don't even know how they know, because I haven't even texted them, told we were going live today, but they're here, they're on it. And of course, we got a lot of other people here as well in the chat. We've got tons of people. Let's see here. We've got the Watchman 3918. We've got let's see, Michael Burns 8505. We've got Older Bones here. We've got quite a few people piling in. And of course, today, guys, we're going to talk about the big elephant kind of in the room that you pretty much can't ignore. I guess you could. And in some ways, I do and want to ignore it. But it is obviously the big topic that's going on right now. And so we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to encourage Shannon and Roxy to tell me their views as to what they see going on and what this is, where this is leading, and what ultimately how the plan will play out. And then after they give their thoughts, I'll give some of my thoughts as well. I'm going to kind of reserve myself back a little bit to start with. And but I will open it up by saying we've had two more a 4.2 and a 4.3 earthquake in Iran. And I just find that interesting. But anyways, I don't know who would like to speak first. Anybody chomping at the bit?
Now, do we have a confirmed earthquake, or do we have seismic activity at that level? That becomes the question.
Well, it's confirmed is kind of the question of the day, you might say. We can take a look at said
Because they're
earthquake.
seismic sensors. And even if we blew something up underground, and
Right, and that's
big enough and wide enough.
And of course, that has a lot to do with why I've been following the earthquakes, because it's making me wonder, because they're not going to tell us whether they're using this or that, or they're not using this or that, or even who's actually doing it. And to be honest, it could be just earthquakes. But every earthquake since this campaign started, every one of them have been about a 4.1 to a 4.4 maybe. And there's probably been, I would say, about 8 of them, and none of them ever have any aftershocks. It's just one boom, that apparently the seismometers are picking up. Huh?
I'll make a suggestion.
Uh-huh.
Considering there is seismic activity, which has triggered this incident, but there are no aftershocks, a seismic event of that level of 4.2 should cause some shift that would take a minute to reverberate down vibration.
Okay.
But however, if that's an underground implosion from a dew, you would just have the initial quake and no more.
Right. Yeah. There's no
kind of like microwaving something underground. I mean, you're just gonna get a pop and it's gonna stop.
Yeah. Like this one.
Kind of like popping a kernel of popcorn.
This one is right on the coast. as you can see on the map there. It's right on the coast.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And let's see here.
All right, tell me what's in that area. Is there shipping and cargo in that area?
Right, that's what we're going to look. So it's north of the not Suez Canal, but the, the pinch point there that they like to talk about, where the blockade is supposedly happening, which it does appear, unless the computers and everything is lying to us. It does appear that they're only allowing certain ships to move their cargo through, and the rest of them they're threatening whatever they're doing. Apparently, that's what it seems like that is actually taking place. So here we are on the map. Let me go full screen. That'll help a little bit. And it's in the Bushner province, and obviously a lot of things around here to the north and the south of it.
Is it Bushnell or Bushner?
It is
province.
Where'd it go? Oh, Bushher.
Okay.
Busher.
There's a
province.
Nuclear power plant there.
Yes, there is. There's, matter of fact, there is one that I think was operable, and there were two that were either never finished or were blown up, because you can see them on the map as well.
Sounds like it's not operable anymore.
Might not be operable anymore. Because even though this earthquake shows this location, it could be something that happened, anywhere in this area here. They're not getting the pinpoint exactly right, I'm sure.
Well, even if it wasn't a place to make one of the booms, that's still an energy hub. Whether it be feeding
there's
tech
oil tankers and stuff right here.
Yeah, that's the energy hub. We have to keep remembering that just because what you're seeing here, and I'm not talking about Google lying to us, I'm talking about just what you see on the surface, you have to think about what might be there subterraneanly.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these things we found out of all of those DOJ files, 99% of it is underground. What's on top is just window dressing.
Yeah, and I think, of course, it was kind of built to be like that.
Because you got all that square footage right there, which is oceanfront, port, or, you know what I mean? It's an easily accessible area, a piece of land, and it's just undeveloped. I find that hard to believe. You wouldn't develop on top of it if you were stacking weight.
There's a whole lot of oil refinery stuff here. See here on the screen? A lot of it. That whole area there up here at the top of the screen. There's a bunch more. The whole coast is laden with it. Up here, all the way across,
you
all the
remember
way
what
down.
I texted you the other day that I thought was fixing to happen right here? Do you have a map of the underground cables, internet cables that run into that port? I'm sorry, y'all. My voice still ain't back.
I got you turned up a little bit more. A map of what now?
Okay. The internet is not fed off of satellites in the sky. The internet is fed off of undersea cables that run country to country.
Okay. All right.
If you want to cut a country's ability to reach out or maybe stop them from tampering with things, because I'm not going to say the word that starts with H and ends with a K, but tampering with things and getting in the back doors of security, you would want to cut their undersea cable. I told you about a week ago that was my next bingo card item, was I saw that cable being cut. I don't know, and I haven't thought about it anymore.
Well, I do know that there's some maps that exist that supposedly show at least some of them, and I'm trying to pull up what we can see here now. And
well, see where you're at right there. It's part of the dirty money hub. Iran is one of the last countries in the world that you can run some dirty money through. And where you're at right there is one of the channels. And
Well, there's obviously a bunch of cables going into this area. As you can see, assuming this information is remotely correct, there's a bunch of cables. This is all undersea cables that supposedly have been run. I'm trying to move the map again. And that location was right up in here, as you can see with my mouse, up in this area somewhere. But I'm sure this thing does not show every single detail of every single cable that's connected in different places.
okay, well, controlling that Hormuz Strait,
Mm-hmm.
whoever controls that controls the world's internet.
The world's internet?
This is what I just looked up. I'm finding online.
Why is that?
The world's internet said it could. I don't know. I'm looking. Carries 1/5 of global internet traffic.
In this, really? 1/5?
Yeah,
That's a lot.
1/5. Roughly 1/5 of the world's energy supply passes through there.
Yeah. But 1/5 of communication as well? I mean, there's definitely a lot of cables. A lot more than you would think running up in here. Of course, we're also talking about these countries are into this tech thing, AI and all that is huge. Because these guys are supposed to be coming over and investing billions of dollars and all this kind of stuff. So I can see it being a lot, but that's surprising. But I don't know how it would control the entire world's internet. I mean, but to be honest, I don't understand completely how the system is set up exactly. It's a little...
In a precedent move in 2024, ITU established an International Advisory Board of Submarine Cable Resilience in partnership with the ICPC Protection. The goal is straightforward: get governments, industry, and technical experts aligned to prevent the disruption and how to respond if this inevitably happens. They held a meeting just weeks before conflict in the Middle East began. So it's a threat, because if it weren't a threat, they wouldn't have had meetings.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying we're planning on it when it comes to those guys.
Well, see, one of the first things Iran was threatening was that they would come in without permission into computer systems and completely wipe out all U.S. citizens' debt, loans, all of that stuff, like wipe the record clean. Everybody gets the 800 beacon score. Well, I don't think people expected that to blow up in their face, but everybody in America was like, go ahead, we dare you.
Yeah, is that a threat?
That is your... Yeah, is that a threat?
I'm welcoming this.
Well,
Just saying.
Iran is your capital of the world for foreign people who like to intrude on digital things without permission.
On the system itself.
Yeah, that's your number one location for that in the world. Because that's where all I don't know why that is a routing point for a majority of global internet traffic.
Mm-hmm. And why
But
is
there's
it
more
that
to
they
that.
even have internet if they're such an enemy? Why would we even give them access? They got sanctions on them. Why wouldn't we cut their cables? And it's like, you can't play in this game. It's quite interesting.
Right.
Anna?
Considering, Roxy's mentioning it's the hub of this type of activity, think about what Kim Jong-un had said just recently, that if one North Korean was harmed in this, then they were coming in. Because why? There are a ton of North Koreans in Iran
Mm-hmm.
for that
Scientists and
purpose.
things like this, for one, for sure.
And computer stuff,
Mm-hmm.
as we were mentioning.
Well, and
So,
don't doubt that when you call customer service and when you get somebody that knows speaky to English, you have no idea where you're talking to them from this day and time. You can literally, if you want to speak to somebody that speaks good English, American, you have to tell them you want on-shore customer service. They will transfer you back to a U.S.-based customer service representative.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to interject a little bit on my thoughts
Yeah.
and
We want to
kind
hear.
of bring this into a spiritual side of things.
Okay.
Because, we're the supernatural show and all. But if you think about what this weekend is and what yesterday was, which was the beginning of the new year, the real new year, and then we have the spring equinox this weekend, high ritual holidays. Then we have this Schumann resonance that has just been off the chain in the last 2 days or so, if
I
not
did
more.
notice that. Yeah, I had it up the other day.
Mhm. And we have 4 CMEs coming our way. So, on a spiritual level, we're dealing with some very high ritual holidays. We're dealing with a situation that has been, the word Armageddon has been brought into.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to remind everybody of William Cooper. He wrote a book called Behold a Pale Horse.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cooper was a former United States Naval Intelligence Briefing Team member, and he knew a lot of stuff. Since the 1940s, he was privy to a lot of this information. William Cooper in the 1990s was pew-pewed down in front of his home by several agents, supposedly for tax evasion, which was not true, but it really was because of all the information he had been releasing and speaking out on. And one of the things he mentions over and over again is that these government factions that really, truly, on a spiritual level, are worshiping the evil one, they are trying everything in their power to create Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, I don't know why, but they are pushing this. And I'm reminded of characters throughout history like Rasputin and other people who were considered to be holy of some sort and whatnot, but they were absolutely just debaucherous and vile. And there is a sect of Kabbalistic belief, well, I wouldn't say a sect, the whole of Kabbalistic belief is pushing this whole end time scenario by being as vile as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm. It's the ones
So,
that claim to be
I just
Jews
kinda
that are
wanted-
not Jews.
Right.
That's who's doing it.
So on a spiritual level, the fact that they're using end time speech on a public level, they're taking these steps to take down one of the oldest pieces of land in history.
Yeah, this is Persia.
And
They've
exactly.
been digging holes in these mountains
And-
for thousands of years.
And the amount of technology uptick on everything, you have to know that on a spiritual level, they are pushing this because for some reason they think they are going to win,
Okay,
which
well,
we know different.
we actually
Question
have to
is
look at
win
this from
what?
two perspectives.
Question is when what?
Well,
know,
you have
if
to look at it when we're talking about targets. We wouldn't just be targeting, and I say when I say we, I don't mean us, like I'm on the team. I'm saying America, U.S. military.
what they're being used to do.
Wouldn't right.
Mhm.
would not just be if they were full on targeting things. One of the things they would target would be the data centers. If you could take the data center out rather than cutting the C cable, you're only damaging one side of the transmission.
But see, they want these data centers. They need them all over the world for a specific
Wow.
purpose.
We're-
So I don't know if they're really trying to take out that so much as they are just trying to incapacitate one section of, the earth.
The chain. It's just a link
Because
in a
those
big chain
data
of
centers,
horrible.
well, in this upcoming war, again, I'm bringing the spiritual side of it. It's a big ritual blood sacrifice. So they need these data centers. That's part of what these data centers are for. In the
In the
scheme of
long-term
things.
scheme, yeah.
But cables, yeah, the cables I could see, and I could see them trying to incapacitate a section. But a lot of this too seems as though it is theater.
Well, see, when I think
A whole
about
lot of
data centers, I don't just think about data centers as, because I know we talk about it on the demonic level of what they're actually doing with the data centers. Not only that, if you've got data centers that has got the algorithm and the information of every citizen, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a position of power depending upon what kind of collective data you have on them. And if they're the world's leading get into the back door your information in the world, there's a lot there to target. I'm just trying to think strategically.
Right. I could see them wanting to take them over.
Something's going on.
It's kind of like when you think a desert storm and a lot of the underground purposes for why that war even happened. Considering that there was a lot of talk of Babylon being there, and Saddam was saying he was like the second coming of that dude and was trying to rebuild ancient Babylon, right? And then like Hillary comes in and starts, in the background, and Clinton and all them, they're like, hey, we have all these artifacts and all this stuff that we could just steal and blah, blah, blah in the name of this battle. So it's like the real purpose was to get a hold of these things and take over said areas where ancient Babylon resided. So, like there's a purpose that has nothing to do with the outward stuff that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it that they are trying to take over? I mean, there's a whole battle that is being talked about with this AI god, this ancient Sumerian AI god, and that here in our country, we're trying to do this quicker than China. So, there's a battle to be the first dude to get this AI god rolling, because whoever starts it gets to control it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I could see. Certainly, that's one of the things they're doing. Ultimately, I think this is. You got to look for the end game, and like most people think this is a war against Iran. It really isn't. It's a war against the people of Iran who were raised and believe in the dream that they grew up believing, that they are Iran, they're a certain religion, they are sovereign, and that the big evil country in the West, and then also Israel and many other countries are against them. And then so they still believe that. And so, but, you know, if you're going to have, if their goal is what many people have said up a million times, you know, one world order with this God above it, a one world religion, one world currency, one world everything, right? So that they can rule it all, one ring to rule it all kind of thing. Then you kind of have to look from that perspective as to what's going on to see maybe what the end goal is, which I think we all kind of have a general understanding, and it does seem to be following, like they're using Revelations and the book of Daniel and others like a playbook, literally. But all these people, as you come down from the top of the pyramid, you might say, where the ultimate controller's at the top, each level you come down, the people know less and less and less and less about what's actually true and what's really going on and what the goals truly are. They're all being manipulated every step down as you come down, being manipulated by the ones above. And you get down to our level, and which is, you know, we ain't on the bottom step, but we're pretty close to it. But I've been sitting back watching this play out, because we haven't really talked about this much between all three of us, and even on air, since it began. And I literally am sitting back and I can see the things that me and Shannon have talked about for years. It's like the things that Trump's saying, the things that BB is saying, and all these people and the things that are playing out. It's like it's like rolling out on a script, you know, which again, I think there is an ultimate script that they're following, and it is a world stage, but at the same time, you have real world implications, people dying, schools getting blown up, you know, whatever is actually happening on the ground. And we, the people, are having to deal with the effects of these guys playing power games, trying to be God, basically. And it's stressful, to be honest with you, to really put your mind around it and try to digest. And then on top of that, try to have discernment, because here we go out on the internet talking in front of potentially thousands of people. And those people, even though they're going to think for themselves, because that's the kind of people that come here, they're going to think for themselves, but they're looking to us to help with the discernment of the whole thing. You know, that's...
Well, and I think I agree with that. They come here wanting somewhere to lead them, but I think it's just as important for us to pose the question and them go find the receipts or the answers, because that's part of the process. You have to be curious about it. You can't just expect somebody to serve up the answer to you on a plate, because that's how we got where we're at today.
Yeah, listening to others and assuming it was true. Yeah. Not to change the subject, because it's not a change, but I wanted to ask y'all guys, I'm sure you can see the map that's in front of me. Let me make it a little bigger. And ask you what you notice. This is the little star here is this one of the two earthquakes that happened in the last 24 hours. Supposedly earthquakes, because they're I think this is a 4.2 or 4.3, which is that exact range of small nuclear. And I know somebody's going to want to argue about this, nuke that. Look, they got big bombs. And according to all the information I could find, these 4.0s that nonstop keep popping off are along that line. And I zoomed in on this location to see what was here, and it's up kind of in the rolling hills and mountains and stuff. And if you notice, it's centered here, but no telling where around here the center or whatever actually happened. But I noticed You see all these, looks like little squiggly lines that are on these hills?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Anything strike you about those lines?
Well, I do know they're put there intentionally so the sand doesn't blow away. It's to rebuild greenery.
It's right. Yeah, they're you can tell it's man-made. Like if you look over here on the right, it's more random. But over here, this has all been planted. Like they've been doing something here. And what would you be doing out here? Well, if you zoom in here on some of these different areas, obviously we got roads and stuff. And over here, for instance, we got a lot of, I mean, you can even still see the tire tracks on the ground out here. From
Going nowhere.
looks like there's so many things coming to this point right here. This looks like it's an opening to something, maybe an underground thing or whatever. But the whole reason for looking at this is trying to discern, for me, if they're actually using nukes or not, small nukes or not. And the reason why that's a concern for me is because, well, one, I want to try to understand and have discernment and understand something closer to the truth. But back in 1990, Trump came out and he did a interview with Playboy magazine, and I've talked about it a number of times on this on the show and on the Logic Before Authority channel. And he, when they asked him about, I'll show it actually, I've got it pulled up. When they asked him about, let's see, right here. They were interviewing him supposedly. Who knows if the interview was even real, but this is what was reported, okay? When they come to and ask him about, first thing they bring up him being president. He says, so they're talking about being president, right? He said, they ask him, what would be some of President Trump's longer term views of the future? Now, what does he decide to talk about? He says, I think of the future, but I refuse to paint it. Anything can happen, but I often think of nuclear war. Now, understand this, in my opinion, Trump knew in 1990 that he was going to be playing this role as president. He was going to be centrally cast in the role to be president. That's just my opinion, okay? In 1990, he even knew well before that, I'm sure. But here he is talking about the first thing that comes to mind when he thinks about being president of the United States. This is in 1990, so you're talking almost 20 years later. No, excuse me. 25 years later. Yeah, this 25 years later, he then runs for president and becomes president. Back here, he's talking about, but I often think about nuclear war. I've always thought about the issue of nuclear war. It's a very important element in my thought process. Really, this land developer has been spending a lot of time, so much so that it's the first thing that comes to mind when he thinks about being president, the nuclear war. It's a very important element in my thought process. It's the ultimate, he says, it's the ultimate catastrophe. The biggest problem this world has, and nobody's focusing on the nuts and bolts of it. It's a little like sickness. People don't want to believe they're going to get sick until they do. Nobody wants to talk about it. I believe the greatest of all stupidities is people believing it will never happen. So I believe the greatest of all stupidities is people's believing it will never happen, because everybody knows how destructive it will be. So nobody uses weapons. What bullshit. Does any of that, and then the guy asks, does any of that fuzzy thinking exist around the Trump office? And he goes on talking about some other things. But to me, and this is just my opinion, everybody has their own. To me, not only did he know he was going to be president, he knew during his time of playing this role as president that said nuclear weapons would be used. Now, who will be claimed to have used them? How will it happen? What country? This, that? I don't know. I mean, if you look at the situation as it stands right now and try to apply logic to the way the play is playing out, it looks like Israel will be the one to probably use them first. And then there's going to be some, like they're talking about now, the escalation ladder. When somebody does this, then you do this, and then they do that, and then you do something else a little bit bigger. They're playing that game right now. And at some point, they're going to run out of steps, and the only next escalation ladder step to step on is going to be nuclear. And the other day, supposedly they blew up a big oil refinery area. It might be one of the 2 earthquakes we're looking at, or maybe it was a day or so before that. But anyways, they blew this thing up, and then Trump comes out and says, we didn't have nothing to do with that. That was Israel. They just went and did it on their own. I mean, it's quite the interesting stage show to watch as to what they're doing. But based on the way Trump handles things and how I know that he knew, at least I feel that he knew he was going to be president even back in 1990 when supposedly this was done, and him bringing it up, I'm pretty sure we're at the point in time where this is going to play out. I mean, even so much so, I've made full-on videos about the potential player that is most likely, or one of the potential players that are most likely to be used as the, whatever you want to call it, the country that they're going to say, either retaliated or used them first. Now, I think the retaliation is kind of the one that's going to be worse than the actual original use, because the retaliation, like if, let's say they play it out and Israel drops a pretty big one on Tel Aviv or anywhere over there, even maybe it's a military place that they claim they dropped it on. I mean, my mind cannot help, and this is just me. Maybe I don't, maybe I've lost it. But my mind keeps going back to the scriptures, the script that talks about the beast getting tired of being prodded by the whore that's riding its back, and it rears up and burns that mystery Babylon, whoever that is, whether it's, if you want to point at Israel or if you want to point at England, or whether you want to point at the United States, because according to Trump, we're the greatest at everything. We're the greatest, period. And the greatest back in the day, that was Babylon. And I think that I don't like this. I don't like thinking like this. I don't like feeling like I can see what's coming and it's somewhat inevitable, because there will be real world effects. There will be people that die. There won't be none of them unless they make a little mistake or something other, but it won't be none of them. Like, for instance, they're talking about activating the draft, possibly, right? But Barron, he has a rare disease where he can't go in the military. He's exempt because he has this rare disease, supposedly. So he wouldn't be allowed in the military. Yeah, right. He would have never. He would, of course, never. None of them they won't even get their shoes dirty, in this whole game that is playing out, that is affecting all of us. It's already affecting all of us, our pockets at least. And it changes the conversation. Go from talking about one thing, and now we're talking about, well, here goes the thing me and Shannon have been talking about for years. and of course Roxy too. But me and Shannon have been doing it since the beginning of the Supernatural show, and of course even before that. Shannon knows I used to talk about this stuff even way back, because I was figuring yesterday. I was thinking 16 years. That would be 2010 to 2026. Actually, I'm thinking I'm actually longer than 16. I think it's 17 or 18 years of doing this. And the advantage of that is you have all your time, all day, every day, 7 days a week, for all those years to let your mind work on all this stuff and try to get the best possible discernment you can see. But then at the end of after all those years, I come up here and I stand in front of all of you and I say, I think that during this period while Trump is in office, they're going to use nuclear weapons. They're going to blow up some places. No, I don't think they're going to blow up the whole world, but they're going to blow up a few things. They won't go so far as blowing up the whole world because there's controllers that are well above Trump, well above Putin, well above Xi Jinping or whatever the guy's name is in China. There are controllers that are out of the scene that you've never seen before, that are extremely religious people, just not in the same religion we might be in, or beliefs we might have. But we've talked about it many times, like Shannon, like Rogue. Let's see here. Let me type this up. The old Illuminati playing cards that came out in the 1990s. And they've got all these things that are going to happen, like Rogue Boomer. See if I can get this thing to open.
Interesting you bring up Xi Jinping.
Mm-hmm.
That's his name. And considering, yes, he's just a figurehead. Today, Chuck Norris died,
Mm-hmm.
and he was really good friends with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, who was just...
The leader of China was really good friends with Bruce Lee?
No.
Is that what you said?
Chuck Norris, who died today, was really good friends with Bruce Lee.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Right? Bruce Lee, who we know was taken out, it wasn't an accident. We know this. He was sharing too much on the world stage of what the brotherhoods of of China
Mm-hmm.
were okay with.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very old bloodline that still rules everything in China, and they're the ones who were actually responsible for taking out Bruce Lee. And if they're gonna obsess over an actor, imagine what they would do with their puppet world leaders. So it's really, even though they went through the whole communist change with Mao and in that whole direction, it's still the same dragon bloodlines that rule China.
Interesting how they call them, it's known as the dragon bloodline, and then you got England, and they've got dragons all over everything, and it's all over the world, really, in a lot of different cultures.
It's just that, a lot of these things are ruled by old families. I know Roxy has that list of the 13 families that, their real names and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So China is no different. And they're right up there in world power right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's, I mean, none of us know truly the complexity of exactly how that system works. But I do know and I do feel that it's there. And the ones that really are in power, most of them we really never see. We might not even never hear their name, or fairly rarely, because they've got their puppets. They don't need to spend their time in public eye. They don't have a need for being seen, you might say. And they have this script, and I wonder, they put out things like this card, for instance, the Illuminati playing cards that showed all these events that many of you have seen us talk about over the years, like the Pentagon getting attacked, the Twin Towers being attacked, and Trump being shot at. And it's just, they even had the original going postal in there as well. And they don't put these cards in here for no reason. And these plans that they have, they've had these plans in place for hundreds of years and have just been building the tools and technologies in order to fine-tune everything. But now you have a situation where you could have a rogue nuclear submarine. You have the United States supposedly just signed an agreement literally in the last couple of weeks with South Korea to provide them with nuclear capabilities and nuclear submarines even. And of course, the North Korean actor comes out and says that, he wasn't very happy about it. And you can pull all this up on Google if you wanted to. But he's upset, and supposedly, I think it was just a few years ago, North Korea, with the help of supposedly, according to the script, Russia, gained the ability to have a nuclear submarine several years ago. And I put out a video showing the whole launch of that. I even have it here. I could play it. But showing, what they're just, it's like it's just all playing out.
I have a quick question here for Roxy.
Yeah, Roxy, where you at?
I'm here.
As of course, I kind of just lost it.
I hate it when that happens.
Dang it. It had something to do with, in Satan's hemorrhoid files. Is there anything in those that you have seen that is connecting to any of this stuff that we're talking about today?
There might be some hints in there.
Which piece of that puzzle would you like me to fill in for you?
How many pieces you got?
Well, that place where we're talking about is a centralized hub for moving and holding and moving things on to different places. There are labs. There are money holes. There's dirty money there. It's a big piece of that. It's not just one simple thing that we're over there fighting against or for or taking out or whatever you want to call it. There's lots of pieces.
Is there anything in there that is suggesting knowledge or foreknowledge of use of this kind of weaponry?
I haven't gone that far.
Okay.
You just see a lot of details here and there of, where things are being brought up, and you see where these networks, node to node. And for anybody who doesn't know, this isn't, and Shannon and I had a conversation earlier this week, this isn't just children, folks.
Right.
That are being moved. These are grown adults who are living in horrible circumstances in their country, and somebody comes up to him and says, "Hey, we'll get you a visa to America, but you're going to owe us $5,000. So you're going to work for us until you pay that debt off." Well, they never pay that debt off because they don't understand when they get to America that $5,000 is going to have interest on it. And then you're going to owe these people for housing and food. So you work all week long and pay nothing towards your debt. You're just a slave. They're the girls working at the nail salons that don't speak English.
And they're sending off whatever they can to their families, by the way.
They never get out. Like lifelong servitude until your visa runs out and they send you back home.
Or threaten you or whatever.
Yeah.
But to answer your question a little bit, Shannon, I mean, I went to the website where you look at the e-stain stuff, and I typed in the word nuclear, and there are 1,729 results.
You have to be careful about that, though. A lot of that stuff, and I caution people when they're searching this, when you go in and it says there's,
brought it this time.
I'm talking about the general public.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in and you put a word or a name in and it comes back with, let's say you put in Trump and it comes back, and I'm not defending the man, but it comes back with 2,000 hits. You got to understand that doesn't mean 2,000 direct communications. That means that word was found. A lot of those things you're seeing there on the screen, for some reason, old Jeffy boy, every day, he got FBI updates. He got command updates. He got military updates.
See, that's
and
what
he
I'm
had the
talking about.
world's top scientists sending him stuff on nuclear energy and physics and quantum physics and genetics. And so that's why you're populating so high with that word.
Oh, but look at right there. The crisis over Iran's nuclear program, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is some stuff in here that he is obviously discussing with other people in this ongoing situation. So there's some kind of foreknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
They were all monitoring this for years.
This one says, the second question is whether Iran's possible acquisition of nuclear weapons will lead to a nuclear cascade, another facet of this broader proliferation issue. And of course, you have to understand, just like Roxy was saying, but on a different side of it, is that even this stuff can be propaganda. It can be intentionally placed in these so-called files. So just keep that in mind.
Well, every day there's a website out there that has actually reconstructed all of this that was email based, like him communicating with other people. And when you go to it, it looks just like you're logging into old Satan Hemorrhoid's email account. You can search it by sender, receiver, whether there's photos attached, whatever. It's the unique way to look at it. But you'll see that all these scientific articles in here on stuff are sent to him on the regular from like the head of Stanford, the head of Harvard. Like, look, you need to look at this. You need to read this. And it was the Capri Sun newsletter. If y'all don't know what Capri Sun is, it's people with the blue and white flag. Because they've already picked up on
not the Greeks.
Not the Greeks, yeah. The Capri Suns, because we can't say the other lunch drink anymore. But like the information. I went back and tried to look at not just what the information was in the email. Where's the majority of this coming from? Who was sending it to him? Who were his regular contacts? Because if you look at who he's rubbing elbows with, you see that he's directly rubbing elbows with Teal, who we know backed old VP boy there with his money. So,
and some of these things are interesting.
and it
that one. China should intervene in Syria, not America. Wait, what?
What? China should intervene in
China
Syria.
That's a list of different
should
news articles.
intervene in
Yeah,
Syria.
these are news articles, supposedly.
But that's an article right there. The Daily Beast.
Mm-hmm. And of course, propaganda, and for whatever reason, they put them in here. And
Well, see, I started tracking emails by subject, and then who
Mhm.
that subject was sent to him by, and then what kind of what kind of other emails are you back and forth with that person? Like, if you rubbing elbows with, a tech guy, is this said tech guy coming to your island and visiting, or is he just somebody you take tech knowledge from and consume it like we do with YouTube? So once I saw who he was reading in the newspaper, I looked to see if he was communicating with that person. And a lot of times he was. There's not many people he wasn't communicating with. But what people have to understand
Apparently.
is old Jeffy boy there, he's just a small fish in a big pond. That one little island he had, that's just a small hub. This happens in the majority of countries. There are places in all of them that are hubs and nodes for this type of human product in one form or another. And I say that literally. There is nothing about a goyim, a human, that they will not use, sell, or traffic from birth to after death. And when I say that, I wouldn't eat at McDonald's, and you'll understand what I'm saying.
Probably not a good idea. I'm looking at this one here, and
I
again,
still have the Soylent Green posters.
I've seen this one that says the crisis over Iran's nuclear program could end in 3 ways. And I don't even know what this is. We're just doing what we're doing, okay? So it says diplomacy coupled with sanctions could persuade Iran to abandon pursuit of nuclear weapons, but that's unlikely. The historical record indicates that a country bent on acquiring nuclear weapons can rarely be dissuaded. Take North Korea, which succeeded in building its weapons despite countless rounds of sanctions and all this. And then it goes on to say the second possible outcome is that Iran stops short of testing a nuclear weapon, but develops a breakthrough capability, the capacity to build and test one quite quickly. Such a capability might satisfy the domestic political needs of Iran rulers by assuring hardliners that they can enjoy all the benefits of having a bomb, such as greater security without the downsides, such as international isolation and condemnation. Reconsider Israel. Israel, however, has made it clear that it views a significant Iranian enrichment capacity alone as an unacceptable threat. It would even though they got them, it would likely continue to its risky efforts as subverting Iran's nuclear program through sabotage and assassination, which could lead Iran to conclude that a breakthrough capability is an insufficient deterrent after all, and that only weaponization can provide it with the security it seeks. Even when I'm reading this is all like reading out of a propaganda newspaper. I understand that if you're listening, but I'm just curious. The third possible outcome of the standoffs is that Iran continues its course and publicly goes nuclear by testing a weapon. U.S. and Israeli officials have declared that outcome unacceptable, arguing that a nuclear Iran is a existential threat to Israel. Such language is typical of major powers which have historically gotten riled up when another country begins its development of a nuclear weapon. Yet every time another country has managed to shoulder its way into the nuclear club, the other members have always changed tack and decided to live with it. In fact, by reducing imbalances in military power, new nuclear states generally produce more regional and international stability, not less. And I don't know if I want to continue reading on. I might without actually
he got these
unless I see
emails
something interesting
daily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are pretty much articles. But I'm curious, like, if it'd be something to look into. We don't have to do it right here on the show, but at some point it'd be interesting to look through emails, to skim through and find out, like, little real golden nuggets it's in there
It would take some
of
time.
foreknowledge of what's happening.
The
Yeah, 'cause that's why we're
interesting,
looking at it, is
interesting
trying to
information comes
understand
from text
what they're
messages.
hinting at.
Right, text messages.
Oh yeah, there's text in there. They've got all of his text
If
mail
they're real,
chains and
I mean, we don't know what's real at all. Just because it says this is
maybe.
a
I mean,
text
that's all we
message
can
from-
say at this point.
Yeah, all we can do is consider it, use discernment, and go from there, kind of thing. Absolutely.
When it all comes down to it, we know we're fighting something evil. That this is a spiritual war, and that everybody's got to band together because it is not left versus right. It is us and them, and
the enemies aren't bigwigs that we're being told. It's us. I mean, look, Vice, okay, which I think is a total shill journalistic company. I'm not propagating them in any way, but even they came out years ago with a piece that shows you that all of these world leaders come together in these different conventions to look at weapons of mass destruction to the people. They're all partying together, hanging out at these conventions, looking at what weapons they want to buy for their country to control their population.
oh yeah, to them it's like going to a concrete convention or an equipment rental convention for construction.
Exactly.
And they're talking about
Boeing,
they're talking about airplanes and tanks.
right. Well, Boeing has their booth there every year, and they do more with weapons and war than anyone even knows. They build huge lasers, a lot of different things in weaponry. It's not just planes. These are the things that not a lot of people know. I mean, you think Boeing, you think planes, but they have a whole other subsection that makes them a lot more money than planes.
Well, and see, once you're the kind of company that gets special government clearance on technology and things of that nature, it's easier to continue working with that company because they already have clearance. You don't have to vet them, or you got buddies, or you paying somebody. However it works, but they continue to work with the same ones over and over, who end up controlling the majority of the technology and the money. War makes money. War stimulates economy. More airplanes got to be built. More bullets got to be made. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. War seems to be typically is used. I mean, because ultimately the war is against the people. It's not really between the countries. Because again, this is a top-down system. We were born into the United States, and the television told us who our enemies were. And these are the bad guys, and they're bad because of this, and we're just supposed to believe it. We really sitting here today, and I haven't traveled all over the world, but I've traveled. Well, I've been Canada, I've been United States, all over the United States. I've been Mexico, I've been Central America, down like Belize, all these places. And people in general are just great people. There's always some bad actors for whatever reason. It seems like the human race cannot all be just good. But in general, there's just a lot of great people everywhere I've ever been. But yet, because the television says that Russia's an enemy or China's an enemy, but yet don't worry about the fact that we're doing all this business with them. They're making almost everything, but they're an enemy. None of it makes any sense as to the big picture of things, unless you understand that that's what the purpose is that it doesn't mean it's supposed to make sense. It's supposed to confuse you.
One of the biggest purposes of war, when the one that Roxy mentions is on that material plane, and as we look at the spiritual plane, it is all about blood ritual sacrifice. War creates the capacity for mass bloodshed. People who literally sign up and self-sacrifice themselves to do so. It gives an excuse on the world stage for that mass ritual blood rite sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because everything to these people is ritual. Everything.
Yeah, they're think about the most religious fanatic you've ever met. Now, times 100, if not more. And that's the kind of people at the top of this thing we're dealing with. And I use the word religious. It's a word. It means someone who believes in a certain thing, or a group of people who believe in a certain thing. And they believe in a certain thing. But it's the exact opposite of how we think and how we believe everything should be. I pulled up the ship traffic map, and I'll say this: I have never seen this whole area so clear. The Strait of Hormuz. I have never seen it just empty of ships. Now, there's plenty of ships, but they're all backed off.
I feel like there is a greater purpose for keeping that area clear. Like they've got to be doing something in the water, like the ocean front, like deep down.
Like what?
I wonder if Gerald has something to do with it.
Is Gerald working on the undersea cables?
I think this is an inside joke that I missed.
Do you not know about Gerald the dolphin?
Oh,
How have you missed Gerald the dolphin?
I think I missed Gerald the dolphin.
This is a quick side squirrel. A couple of weeks ago, dude was picked up on the beach in Florida. He was drawing these intricate designs in the sand. He looked sunburnt, a little dehydrated.
A dolphin?
No, a man.
Oh, man.
And when the police found him and he seemed a little delusional, they asked him where he had been. He said he had been swimming, and Gerald the dolphin kidnapped him, took him underwater for 3 days, and used him to build an intricate city. They were using him as an engineer. They helped him to breathe underwater. Well, to begin with, people thought this man was they thought this man was crazy. Come to find out, he's an engineer for NASA. And there are actual NASA videos where they had dolphins they were training, and to speak telepathically to humans. Take a guess what that dolphin's name was.
Gerald?
Was it Gerald?
It was Gerald.
Holy moly.
And this sounds kind of strange. The only way in the video that Gerald would comply with training is that Gerald got to go wrestling with the other dolphins, and then he would come back and train. But he liked wrestling a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all in the video. There.
And again, it's illegal
We say
to
wrestling
communicate
to make it
with
family friendly.
dolphins.
Yeah. Yeah, it's against the law to communicate with dolphins. We call wrestling on our show because we don't ever know if a child might be in the room, and we don't want to say anything out of place.
Yeah, I got you.
So adult activities are called wrestling.
Adult wrestling. Professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So
Professional wrestling, yeah. Gerald liked to wrestle, so if they would let him wrestle, he would come back and train to communicate with the humans. It is against the law to communicate with a dolphin. It is extremely against the law to be pregnant and be near a dolphin.
wow.
They also made marijuana illegal, so you tell me.
That's crazy.
They lie and they hide in
We
something.
spoke about
Okay.
the earthquakes a little bit earlier, and I wanted to this earthquake right here. I wanted to look at the signature, from the claimed signature, because we're getting this out of the USGS, which they own, and it's coming out of the Dubai, which they own. So this could be all malarkey, but the signal did come up and show that this is what we're looking at here for this location. And the one thing for sure, all these so-called earthquakes in the last 3 weeks or whatever, they all look identical when it comes to the way the earthquake supposedly happened. It's this Same thing over and over. Just to explain, which some of you probably don't need explaining, I probably need explaining to me, but this is the beginning of what the so-called earthquake or explosion, whichever this was, is called the P wave, which just simply means primary. It means the first wave. And then this blue area here is considered to be what's called the S wave, or secondary, meaning the second wave. The second wave is used to determine how far the sensor is, the seismograph is, from the supposed earthquake. And if you have 3 seismographs, you have enough. You have to have at least 3, and you can triangulate and get the location, the exact location, based on the difference in time between the primary and the secondary. Now, on a nuclear, like an explosion, because this is a 4.2 or something like that, which is the exact area of the size of what's called a tactical nuclear weapon, is supposed to produce at least a 4.0 or 4.1, 4.2, right in there, going up depending on if the explosion was larger and larger. Now, my question is I don't know who may be doing this. It could be Iran, because the people that are toting the guns and the scientists, they believe in what they're doing. They're just following the script that they're handed, and we got to fight this war. We got to test these weapons. We got to defend our homeland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought about something when you were talking about the scientist.
Okay.
Think about Operation Paperclip.
Is it Operation Paperclip? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Because they have such capability over there to get into the backside of systems, which means they have some type of security tech dominance in some department, because if it wasn't a concern of the U.S., you would have never heard about the threats to do things. So is some part of this paperclip? Are we also after some group of high IQ individuals there? Just a theory. Because I go back to other wars and see our behavior and what we were after, regardless of who was in charge. Like, Bill's old lady, HRC. She went over there. She was looking for regeneration tombs. That was the whole reason of going over there. And Gates for Ball, and
looking for the genes, looking for the good genes.
And if you pay attention to the Earth, every time we get to a point that we're splitting atoms, whether it be with cloning or nuclear, it all goes boom.
I wonder if a nuclear explosion causes and it's kind of related to what you were just saying, the Schumann resonance to be affected. Does the Earth itself, react?
What was the time of that quake there? And I'll tell you.
Well, I probably should need to pull it up here anyways. Got it saved right here.
A couple of days ago, it went haywire, and it was mending back out yesterday.
Anybody
I
ever
looked at it
see
today.
my background here? Just erase in your mind, erase these icons. See this background here? This is out of Super Friends from the 1970s, the Justice League, and this was an evil guy, right? And he had this weapon, and what the weapon was, as you can see, this is a lightning bolt. But it's coming from up. Coming from down. It's coming from below, so it's lightning from below is what this image is. And I don't know how that relates to exactly what we were talking about, but thought I'd share that real quick. So here's the Schumann. Now the time, let me go back and get that. Let me move this down here so I can make it easier to reference backwards and forth. Let's see, does it have time on this one? Let's look at this. Okay, so we had one at, and this is going to be based on UTC. I guess says it was 2026 03 20 101 33. Oh, that's perfect. 101 33, and then the other one was at 124 47. So these were only minutes apart, both on the 20th. One was at 101 33, and the other one was at 124. So they were 23 minutes apart. So these two earthquakes you're looking at on screen here were 23 minutes apart. Interesting.
You can get the human to pull up at the moment.
I got it right here. So we need to, is the Schumann in UTC or what is it in? Does it say? I'm looking here.
I don't know. I had to convert it one time before. Can't remember what it was.
Am I looking at? Hang on, let me refresh this and make sure I'm looking at the current thing. Because this says at the top, I'm seeing 1/9/2025. Pretty sure this ain't January.
That ain't live. I don't know what you're looking at, but that ain't live.
Yeah,
I can't get the
refreshed
live
this
feed to come up.
Maybe this is cached for some reason. It's all saying 2025. That don't make no sense.
B?
I mean, if it was down, it would just be down. It wouldn't show me. It's showing me the 31st of August 2025 and the 1st of September 2025. I don't know why that is. But I do find it interesting that these two so-called earthquakes were only 23 minutes apart. Both of these right here. They're 23 minutes apart. And one of them's a 4.2, one 4.3. I don't know. I mean, the only time we're going to know for sure is when we have something we can see for sure. And hopefully we never get to see something for sure. Of course, they may come out one day that, some places blowed up real bad and tell us, because we're all kind of waiting on that and suspecting that they're going to do it. We just don't know when or where for sure. I think ultimately, I've said it many times, ultimately, New York City don't have a good future because they've been planning that for a long time and shown it in too many movies. Matter of fact, the image I showed you right here, show this to you again. The background image with the lightning bolt, right? Lightning from below. This comes from an episode of the Super Friends where the lightning bolt comes up out of the ground and it sends a beam, basically, of energy to the Twin Towers in New York, in the cartoon, and the Twin Towers start swaying backwards and forth like rubber. That's
like a direct energy weapon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the interesting part is how they showed it coming from below. I know I don't have the Super Friends cut in here, and I bet I'd get copyrighted even if I tried it. In studio. There's no way I can.
Yeah, I'm about to have to cut out for the day.
Yeah, we probably about wore people's ear out anyways for today. But I do greatly appreciate you and Shannon joining me again today. Guys, what we're going to try to do is, is try to do it because everybody's got quite a bit going on, and I'm trying to literally keep the lights on here. And so we are going to do we're going to try to do one supernatural show a week. I'm not sure if I want to do it on Fridays or Saturdays. What do y'all guys think out there in the comments? Maybe you could tell me what you think. But on a Friday or a Saturday. And then I'll be doing, as I have spare moments in time, I'll do the Logic Before Authority, but it won't be on a schedule. Generally, will not be on a schedule. It's when I have time and I've got something I want to share. I'll throw up a Logic Before Authority, either a video or live, either one. Roxy, what you got going on over on the Roxy Files?
Shannon and I are on twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
We don't do anything separately anymore. We're kind of like
Attached to
twins
the
in
hip.
it now.
Yes, both of the channels are both ours at this point. We're both hosts. We don't do the co-thing.
Right.
We
And-
both in it to win it.
We in it to win it.
Nobody-
And we got Lisa with us now from Waking
That's
God's Child.
Nice.
That's
We'll
what's
have
up,
to-
Lisa. We love you.
Invite Lisa to join us on here next week.
Yay!
That would be awesome.
Yes.
And,
She's meeting us in California. That's what we got going on. We are counting down
really?
to California. Yeah.
Yes.
Approximately, you don't have to give a date, but approximately when you headed out there, what month?
Oh, I'm going to first week of April after
Oh.
Easter.
Wow.
3 weeks.
That's going to be here quick.
Oh yeah.
Wait till you're flying in on the airplane and you look down and see LA. Make sure you get a window seat. Okay.
Well, of course I did.
hmm Wait till you see that city from the air. Oh my gosh, there's warehouses just, it looks like the whole place is nothing but warehouses almost. I mean, it is massive city. And then wait till you, I don't know where you and where Shannon's going to take you to or whatever around, but if you go around Hollywood or the big buildings, wait to see how disappointed you are because it's just filth.
Oh no, we're not going anywhere like that. That's not the purpose of our trip.
Good. Good
The
deal.
purpose of our trip is to commune together. We have a cabin up in the hills with a hot tub, and us three ladies are going to be there filming episodes and content the whole time, other than a little bit of sightseeing and eating.
Nice.
But no, it's not to go see the sights. It's to put our toes in the ocean of the Pacific. Commune
trust me,
and
it'd be a
film some
waste of
content.
time to go see the sights when it comes to Hollywood.
There's no sites we're interested in. There's a couple of
Yeah.
historical
No
places,
going to
but
Mickey's.
that's about it.
Yeah,
We're not going to Mickey's.
back years ago when I was
promise.
in real estate, I went out there plenty, and I was amazed from the air looking down, but then when I got down there, I mean, like all the tallest buildings in LA, the big skyscraper buildings and stuff, you go down there, and when you drive around, all you realize is everybody that's homeless is asleep beside these buildings, and the people that work inside, they have to open up a gate with guards standing around it, and whoever's going in the building shoots in the building, and they shut the gate again. And anyways, well, so in case it's changed, approximately when are y'all guys doing your shows?
We do Tuesday night, more for the East Coast audience. That happens at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Western or Pacific.
Uh-huh.
And Thursday nights are at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific.
Okay. All right.
And then there's apt to be a random show at any given moment if a squirrel runs through our site
right.
and catches our attention.
Right. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Super Dave. Thank you, Super Mike. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Chave TY, something like that.
Hey, Snowball.
Yeah. And what's up, Snowball? And all Kathy Behrman and all you other guys out there. We greatly appreciate you hanging out with us here for a little while. Hopefully, we gave you a few things to ponder about and ultimately come up with your own choices and your own decisions. You are the one that has to live with the results of your choices. Don't ever base your choices solely on what anyone else is saying. And that means anyone and everyone. You are the one that will live the results of all choices in your life. So with that being said, we're going to get on out of here. I love you. Oh, and I forgot to say thank you to Miss Kim too for helping out. She's been here helping out too in the background. But we're going to get on out of here, and we'll see y'all guys next week. And you'll see us all on our individual channels as well as we move forward. So thank you guys for your time. I love you. And remember, our Father in heaven loves you too. And he would like to hear from you every now and then. The more the better is kind of how he operates. So bye-bye for now.